Live from the Business RadioX studio in Atlanta, it's time for Dental Business Radio. Brought to you by Practice Quotient. Practice Quotient bridges the gap between the provider and payer communities. Now here's your host, Patrick O'Rourke.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and friends of the dental business community. This is your host, Patrick O'Rourke. Hope everybody is having a terrific day. Before we start, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors. One would be me. I sponsor the show. Yeah. So you can check me out at patricko'rourke.me.com. Not a joke. And also the fine, seasoned and respected professionals at Practice Quotient. Practice Quotient PPO analysis and negotiation. Top tier, representation for top tier docs. If you are a top tier provider and you don't feel like you're getting top tier compensation, then you should call the certified professionals and veteran professionals of Practice Quotient. So thank you to our sponsors. With me, as always, is Monsignor John Ray, DJ John Ray, on the mixing board. So thank you, John Ray, for being here. But more than John Ray, I'm very much appreciative. Back by popular demand is Zach Powell, who is now the current president of the Georgia Dental Association and the CEO of the Powell Group. We also have Carol Galbraith is here too, although she doesn't want to talk that much, but we'll see how that works out for her. And so Zach, welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. What's new and exciting?
Well, it's exciting to be the GDA president and travel the state and meet all the dentists all over the state. I'm headed tonight over to the Dental College of Georgia to be with some students, and I was there a month ago. I took a tour of the dental school, and that was great. Just got back from Columbus, had the Western District meeting, and started off the last week with in Cartersville in the Savoy Car Museum, and had the Northwest District meeting up there. See all the dentists up there, so that was a great venue, and having great turnout, excellent questions, and the dental profession is a good place to be.
All right. Amen. I'm with that. Being the president, you are touring a little bit. It's kind of like you're a barnstorm tour across the Peach State, huh?
Well, I initially was going to tour with Bon Jovi, but my singing skills don't match my dental skills.
Well, how are your dancing skills?
I can move.
Okay.
I can move.
All right. Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Maybe not today.
That's probably a good thing.
So, going around to the different districts and talking to the docs about their concerns, and tell me a little bit about what are, the presidential initiatives or the organizational initiatives of the Georgia Dental Association for 2022.
Well, this year as GDA president and representing our board of trustees, we concentrate on three things. Of course, any business, any organization, the lifeblood of that is membership. So obviously we're spreading the good news about the profession and talking to them about joining organized dentistry. We want at the GDA, our mission is to be the umbrella of dentists all over Georgia. No matter where you practice or how you practice, we want you to be a member of the GDA. We also, advocacy is another initiative that we're the watchdog. We are constantly looking at regulations and how we can serve our communities and the patients of Georgia better. And then my last initiative is professional development. No matter where you are in your career, whether you're a dental student, you're a new practitioner, you are a new owner, you are a midlife dentist. I'm not quite there as I'm 35. I guess you know that.
Midwife dentist?
Midlife.
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Maybe there is such a thing, but I'm not sure. And then later in life, as you get later in practice, how do you transition? And what we're trying to do is educate all of our membership on all the benefits and all the things that our organization can do to help you and be an advocate for you as you transition through that career.
That right there is something that, this is just my personal opinion, but since I'm the sponsor, I get to give that, is sorely needed on a national level. There's a lot of, the market's frothy, right? And so there's contracts that are put down that I'm not sure that everybody understands exactly how it works. Now, it's not my forte. This is just my, kind of 30,000 foot view. So there should be some, so it's not, if it's not as simple of a transaction as, hey, we're going to pay you $1 million for your practice, for Zach's practice in, Savannah, Georgia, and then you walk away, go put your toes in the sand, right? That's the simple transaction. If it's multi-year and then there's some sort of equity and there's going to be a stock, what kind of stock is that? Like all of that stuff, can get fairly complicated. And as somebody who talks to dentists every single day and know that they don't read their own PPO contracts, I'm curious how much that they're reading those contracts and whether they do have representation. I know that there's some good lawyers out there. Shout out to Stuart Oberman, shout out to Bill Barrett, and even Andy Shaw. But if you're not getting a lawyer, then what are you doing? I guess, like, is that what's proper? What do they do?
Well, luckily I've been blessed in dentistry and understand those models. And whether it's a conversation that I have with a large group or individually, there are avenues. There are areas to get information, whether it's from we have some great brokers in our state. We have, of course, Stuart is, he's a leader in the legal side of dentistry, and not just in Georgia, but in the country. Kind of circling back to the GDA, you're either leading or following. The GDA is leading our country. It's leading the ADA, going back to kind of what you're saying. We're leading the ADA on many things. I mean, we're a tripartite membership. We don't ever forget that, but with our executive.
What does that mean, tripartite?
Tripartite membership means that within your membership, you are a member of the ADA, you're a member of the Georgia Dental Association, you're also a member of your district, whether I am a member of the Southeastern District, which kind of covers Savannah to St. Mary's, all the way over to the Jessup area. And that's our district. So that's a tripartite membership. I mean, the ADA is the mothership. It is leading. It's an advocate for dentistry in our country. It's the best there is.
But healthcare is local. Right.
For sure.
And this is, I think it's more than a theory. And so, I love what the GDA does. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've been here for a while. I would say that you lead the way. It's not just words. And I go into other parts of the country sometimes as I speak, and I'm like, well, what does the X state dental association say about that? And they're like, why would we ask them? And I'm like, because they represent you, right?
Well, if you saw the interview recently with Kirby Smart from the University of Georgia, when you're climbing to the top of your profession or climbing to the top of an association, the wind blows harder. And so, as we continue to work on what we're doing well, there are avenues that we're working on. I mean, we just had our Board of Trustees meeting down at the King and Prince, and we brought in Dr. David Rice, who is really and I have to give credit to Carol and also our executive director, Frank Capaldo. They are bringing people to our Board of Trustees that are on the edge of technology, social media conversations. How can we have conversations with 20-year-old dentists and still be an advocate for a 65-year-old dentist? I'm going to make sure that happens. And, but we had David Rice come in and talk to us about this. We're looking at third-party things right now. We're looking at our annual meeting this summer. Scott Piper leads our CE program for the Georgia Dental Association. We're bringing
shout out to Scott Piper.
Shout out. Anyway, check. Anyway, we are bringing different types of CE. Whether it's for regulatory purposes or for business purposes or accounting purposes. We have a great meeting to where we want dentists from all backgrounds, all practice models, to all ages, all generations, and bring their family to Amelia Island at the Omni to mix, because dentistry as a whole is a very difficult profession. Sometimes that goes unsaid. I've had some friends have some struggles with mental health. I brought that up as I became president. It is real. It is something that I think being with your colleagues, sharing with your colleagues, and learning from your colleagues can help that situation.
I couldn't agree with you more. And there's a Mastermind Alliance, which is a Napoleon Hill, really, he didn't come up with it, but he just observed it and put it into his book, that most successful business people have some sort of group that they can go to that's very safe, and that they're able to kind of let it out, because, as business owners, as, fathers, mothers, there's a lot that's going on and a lot of stress out there in the world today. So I think that being able to get together in
an informal environment where pressure is low
and it's safe. And I don't want to say the word commiserate, but it's a brainstorm and say, hey, you're not alone. Right. And also find some other ideas that's going to make your life and your business more successful.
I think the GDA annual meeting has been such a retreat. It's become, we had over 1,200 people there last year. It's turned into this multifaceted retreat for families, for people that want to learn some things. People want to find associates. People want to meet the young dentists. People want to see dentists that perhaps have practices they might be transitioning. We have vendors like U.S. Transition, Pete Newcomb, Stuart Oberman's there to give advice. Our vendor, we have an amazing vendor set up to where it is almost, we have a cocktail hour with our vendors. And then our dental college has a new dentist reception and an alumni reception. And it's just a way to establish. My big thing has been the power of your network is what's going to drive you in a profession. Sure. My big thing, I travel all over the state, probably travel more than anybody has in this job in a long time because I live 5 hours away from anything relevant. So I'm on the road a lot, but that's part of the deal. And I understand that. But the network is how you can continue to thrive in this profession if we're going to keep it a profession. Right now, dentistry is at a forefront of whether we're going to be a profession or whether we're going to be a job. And as long as I'm president, we're going to fight to keep it as a profession because that's what serves patients.
Love that. That was good. Put a pin in it.
Might ought to trademark that too, by the way.
So I do think that there's a lot of crosswinds and that strong leadership and participation by the provider community is going to be paramount to how those wins affect your industry in the next 24 months, 5 years, 10 years.
Well, don't you think most peer groups, unfortunately, they share only their victories? And I think what we were trying to do is even in the Board of Trustee meeting we had just a month ago on St. Simon's Island, which was a blessing to have it there. But we spend some time brainstorming on our struggles. And I think that's how we serve the patients of Georgia better. We talk about the number of dentists in our state. Mm-hmm. And we talk about distribution of dentists in our state. We have many areas. I live in South Georgia. We are struggling to bring providers there.
Yes, I've heard that. So I'm always puzzled to know why, if somebody was a dentist, if Carol was a dentist, Dr. Carol, and why she would not be a member of the GDA. It puzzles me. So to any of our listeners out there, if you are a dentist and you are in the state of Georgia, you should be a member, if for no other reason that they do have a lot of folks that are working very, very hard on understanding the winds of change and getting in front of it and being your voice in the gold dome.
Well, I think that's a great, and I spent all day. It was amazing. It was April Fool's Day. It was the second to last day of session, and I spent all day at the Capitol, and it was,
God bless you.
He was watching over me for sure, but it was an amazing day. But with going back to the initiatives with membership and advocacy, that accounts for so many things that we do. But professional development, I kind of lean more towards value proposition, circling back to membership. How are you not a member of the Georgia Dental Association and a practicing dentist? And the reason I say this is being GDA president, a lot of folks in this position, I'm a practicing full-time dentist, run a big operation and blessed for it. But so I just compartmentalize my time to where I can be everywhere, anything Carol wants me to do or Frank wants me to do. But we were blessed that the leaders in our state, which is our governor and the leadership of the GDA, our Thomas Busey and Scott LaFranco and our executive director, Frank Capaldo, fought for dentistry harder than I would say many executive directors do. We went back to work May 4th. We were out of work, and it was the best for patients. It kept them out of the hospital ER with a toothache. Dentists were treating them in a safe environment where we had dental practices that called me from all over the country. They went back to work in September, November, December, January, and I would argue in a less safe environment, because where were those patients going? They were clogging all of our healthcare system when COVID patients needed to be there, when people were in room 1 with an abscessed tooth. And if your value proposition of your $500 to $1,200 to be a GDA member was not valued there, I don't know what is. Also, during COVID, circling back to Scott Piper, I mean, he made a name for himself. He's a triplet, by the way, which is amazing, by the way. He's very shy, so we mess with him now that we're getting some information out of him. But anyway, we decided, and our leadership team with Carol and Frank made a really interesting decision, because a big part of being a member is participating in some of these informative situations. And we opened our webinars to anybody, non-members, anybody. We had almost 8,000 people during that short period of time understand how to treat people in a safe environment, understand what to do during COVID, and how to operate and make dentistry essential for Georgia. And it was a huge victory for patients. I'm in meetings all over this state, and I get in trouble, which you already can probably figure that out, because the first thing I say is, how is this going to benefit the patient? Because if it doesn't, I'm not involved.
I like that. I like that a lot. I would get in trouble, but the angel on my shoulder is John Ray, and he has zero moral conscience.
Well, we have a face for radio. That's what somebody told me this morning. As I walked in here, they were like, great. I said, I didn't wear a tie, and they were like, you got a face for radio. And I go, wow. Confidence building.
No, well, you've been on too, so now you've been on before, so you're a bit of a pro.
Yeah.
I like all of that, and one of the other webinars that you guys did is you start explaining some of the legislative stuff that did come down, like the surprise billing. What does this mean? How do you react to it? How it was explained and articulated to busy business owners in ways that they can understand. I thought that was really good. Scott LaFranca did a really good job there.
Right.
Frank's always been. To say Frank pushes would be, an understatement. And
for sure.
I like that. I like that about Frank.
Well, you're either hunted or hunting. And I learned that at the Capitol, in the sense that as long as we are trying to do what's right for patients in Georgia and being an advocate for the dentists of Georgia, Frank's going to push. But intentional, I'm all about that. And I really respect Frank,
Yes, absolutely. So I have a friend, and his name is Dustin Jacobs. Shout out to my friend Dustin. Dustin has been practicing in Georgia for a while, and I was sitting with him last weekend. And I was like, listen, you should go down to the Georgia Dental Association, the summer meeting. I'm speaking there. I know you've heard my compelling rhetoric before, Dustin, but you can never get enough. And thank you for having me speak there. And so along with Harris, Ginalat, and with Stewart, too, on the panel. So you'll have a couple chances. Anyway, Dustin Jacobs said to me, right, he's from The Ohio State University, by the way.
Wow.
And he has a nice wife and kids. And he said, I've never been to any organized dentistry event in the state of Georgia since I moved here. And he's been here for, I don't know, almost 10 years. And I was like, why? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, no Hinman, no GDA, no nothing, no district, no. And I said, well, you need to come to the summer meeting, bud. Right? You need
to
grab the kids, grab the wife, come down, and they have a whole first time attendee program.
Let me tell you, the kids program. I mean, unfortunately, I got to hang out with all the dentists. But year before last, I sat with Michelle from Gaddis, which is our insurance arm, which is amazing. And it was busy. So we sat in the kids' room with my wife, Elizabeth, Michelle, and maybe a couple other people. And let me tell you, that is a great deal. It's a fun event, outside, inside. I'm
bringing my kids.
Yeah. Tell Dr. Jacobs, I had an office in the Cumming-Buford area forever, and if I don't know him, I need to know him. And he can take us to Aquaterra in downtown Buford anytime. Maybe we ought to discuss that. He can take us to dinner and explain why not. But I'll reach out to him. He needs to be there. How is he dealing with the struggles of practice? Who is his confidant? Who is his colleague that he's discussing whether to get this plan or plan for retirement? Who is doing his insurance? If you're not looking at Gaddis right now and you're in the state of Georgia and you're a Georgia dentist, you're behind, because the Georgia Dental Association has its own, owned by its membership, insurance agency and everybody has friends that sell insurance. great. Shop with them. But if you're not at least having Gaddis look at some of your programs, you're behind.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And
we want you as a customer because it's your company.
I did not bring that one up, but I think that one is good. And so, Dustin, you are now famous. You're welcome, bud.
Yes. And we'll meet you at Aquaterra. It's one of my favorite restaurants right in downtown. And we won't order the surf and turf, but Patrick and I will be a 2-drink minimum. I love that restaurant.
I have not been there. I haven't had the pleasure. But if we bring him down there to the GDA, can we put like a Hawaii luau on him and a big sign?
For sure. Usually the new people, their name tag flashes. So, they stand out.
Yeah. This is going to make him not want to go.
No, I'm just kidding. They don't do that. Yeah. Actually, you get invited. I mean, we have, again, the vendor has a reception.
They give you free drinks, bud.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
What you need to know.
But more than that, I mean, I tell people, there's a business side of the meeting. There's a social side, and what I have worked very hard on, and our annual committee, Jeannie at the GDA has worked so hard, Catherine Torbush, Carol, I mean, these folks, Chelsea, they all work so hard on this meeting. And it's an amazing retreat for your family, but it's also as much CE as you want, as much beach time if you don't want to hang out with Dennis during the day. But we have a Saturday night event where we're having and I don't sing much, but
you do dance.
I do. You know that. And so we're having a yacht rock themed band. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're having Rhonda Rich is going to be a neat lady from Gainesville, Georgia, who we've seen before. I don't know if you know Rhonda. She's a great lady. She's going to be our keynote. Fun, light, and positive. As long as I'm involved, it's going to be upbeat.
I like it. I love it. Yeah. All right, Dustin, you're in, buddy. Everybody
we'll
else,
pick him up.
All right.
We'll go pick him up. His first beer's on me. How about that? Especially if it's at the hospitality suite.
Right. There you go. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. In the hospitality suite, I heard you were excited about that earlier. I heard you mention it. So who's doing that? This is at the beach? Are you going to give out Frisbees and beverages? And what's going on there? You seem very excited about it.
You knew I would. But, we have a beach tent out there. I believe Ken Sellers is in charge of our, had to arm wrestle to be in charge of the beach and the pool. He is our guardian for that. And I think maybe even Troy Schulman's doing some of that. But there's
Ken Sellers will watch my kids?
Yeah, he might.
Awesome.
He might. He might be expensive, though. But he's going to talk him into going to dental school.
You said hospitality.
Yeah, hospitality. Well, we're working on it. How about that?
I'll pay you in GDA dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes. So you tell me about the tent. So you got one guy's doing the pool, one guy's doing the beach.
Yes. And what it is just there's kids everywhere. I mean, really, it's amazing. My children are 22 and 19, and they have friends that they have been meeting for years. I mean, we kid about it all the time with the Matt Mazzali's son, Carter. I mean, we live in completely different areas, and I wanted to say at a Georgia game this fall, they ran into each other, and they had not seen each other except GDA meetings over the last 10 to 15 years. And yet they meet up in downtown Athens and we're like, dude, I know you from GDA and I'm a freshman at the University of Georgia. It just creates the network of, dentist kids, which they're not all nerds like us,
That's pretty awesome, I think. I also think I've been to the event before. And so I'm very excited to participate this year. And I will be bringing my kids. And if you want to convince them to be a dentist, and God bless you.
Yes.
So it's, it really is an amazing event. And so is there anything else about that event that you're super excited about, that you want to share before we move on to some of our last topics?
There's multiple things. I mean, I could go on. We have tennis. We have, I think
golf.
We have golf. We have a fun run, bicycles, everything. I mean, it is at the Omni this year. And a lot of folks, the Omni is such a large piece of property. There's something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the business forum that you're doing, I personally enjoy. Sometimes at other things, I never really get to speak to some of the vendors. And we've just had a long, loyal list of vendors that have been coming. I know they do like a little cocktail hour in there. That's a lot of fun for folks, where you can just really have a true intimate conversation with some folks that a lot of times in bigger situations you cannot.
Sure. Right. And you know what I like actually? So one of the things that I do frequently is a panel. Harris, Corey put it together. Corey does a really good job. And as somebody that's on the panel, I like going to panels because I don't have to really prepare anything. So it's not just me. I'm like, so you just want me to get up there on stage and give my opinion on stuff? Sure, I'm in. But not just as somebody that's up there, but even as a meeting attendee, I think that I get more out of panels, even I go to insurance industry stuff, because you let the crowd take it over and then they get out what they want of that. You have a bunch of experts that are up there. And so the whole agenda and the content isn't canned. And so it's really kind of taken on and controlled by the crowd. And so I love the panel personally.
Well, I've pushed really hard and if you ask Frank about me, he probably would say that I'm kind of pesky and persistent, and I'm comfortable with that.
I can't see that at all.
Yeah, thank you. And so what I have pushed is for either a business roundtable environment, an informal panel to where you can ask any question, or your colleague can ask a question that you just don't want to ask. And it creates a very inclusive, it creates an open discussion, and that's what I want. The hour of sitting there and somebody talking, we're just trying to get away from because it's not interactive. We want people.
I agree.
We want people to leave with pearls, leave with nuggets, and when they drive home, that's one of the best, refreshing, educated means that we can go to in our profession. Again, it's about expanding your network and educating your network. Because we're community based and patient centered. As long as we do that, we're really going to stay united as a profession. We can look at other professions and see the fragmentation and the consolidation movement that's going on. I mean, it's no secret.
No, absolutely not. Just one last thing. So I will be down there on the GDA. So if anybody wants me to talk about something specific, feel free to hit me up, Instagram, Pat_J_Rourke, or my contact information will be on the show page, but I can customize that as needed. Now, moving on, let's go back to what we said. We said advocacy. We said professional development. We said helping docs transition. We said charitable care and education, not education prevention.
No, thank you. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tell me a little bit more about the charitable care and education components or initiatives that are going on this year.
Great question. We're very blessed, of course, to have Carol here, who has taken the leadership role at our GDA Foundation.
Nice job, Carol.
She's multi-talented, and she heads our PR as well, Healthy Mouth, Healthy Me. I mean, this is why she can't speak back to us. She's not talking. But anyway.
Isn't it fun? That's
it is fun.
Fun of John Ray all the time.
No. But I mean, really, the GDA Foundation is a box that we check off when we do our dues. And there's some amazing people on our foundation board, and we've come together with Carol's leadership. We had a meeting in Macon, central part of the state, which I love because we're bringing people. If we have all our meetings in Atlanta, is a Valdosta dentist going to want to serve on that? No. And so I've pushed to include all dentists all across the state. Georgia's a big state.
It is big.
Carol has taken the lead with our foundation, A, to create some synergy, B, to create some fundraising, but also to be accountable to our members of where their money's going. I mean, there's a huge need as far as educating and dental education, Special Olympics. We go to that and educate folks, do screenings. Jonathan Dubin's a great member, also represents the Hillman Dental Society, an amazing friend that has been doing screenings for years and years. The foundation wants to be an umbrella of support for these organizations. Special needs is near to my heart, and it is a huge need in our state. There's a lot of children that are not seeing the dentist in our state, and the foundation and I'm sure Carol, I'm not hitting all the notes, but it is. We want to be.
Do you want your own show, Carol?
Well, she deserves one for sure.
Because you can be shy now because Zach's there, but we'll have our own show and I'll pull it out. It'll be like torture. It'll be like pulling teeth.
Yeah. But it really is the public service, community service arm of our organization, and it's been strong. Dentists do so much in their communities, and we still don't promote it that well.
I have found that
donated service program
really noted that like inside and outside this country that for all the docs, almost all of our clients and all the docs I know do something, but it's not something that they
self-promotion is not the strength,
out.
But we also need to educate. I think what Carol is going to bring to the foundation is, we do need to educate folks about what we're doing and the capacity of the footprint that dentistry can have in our state, because there are still people that need to be educated about hygiene. There are still people that
John Ray.
Well, nice. I think he has beautiful teeth. But anyway, there are people
I wasn't talking about his teeth.
Oh, wow. But anyway, they're nice to get me off. Get me off course there. Nice job. And I'm pretty good, but good job. But anyway, just spreading education across the state. And, I think it's a buy-in for our membership. I really do, because ultimately when you join a profession, you have to make the choice to serve first. And that's going out of style, Patrick.
Is it?
Well, it just seems
That's
like
sad.
it is.
That makes me sad.
Well, we're not here to make you sad, because our profession wants to serve first.
Gotcha. But you got to be a member first.
No, you don't have to be a member. There's a lot of dentists that are not members that are probably doing great things. And I'd argue if they would join the GDA, we would be able to help them with their path. If they're doing a mission trip somewhere and they're not a member of the GDA, we would love to support it. We would love to be involved. We would love to promote their mission.
Mm-hmm. That's a really excellent point. And I think that perhaps, and I don't know, but there's probably some of them that don't have the wherewithal. You guys saw my social media fail earlier, right before the show. It takes time to learn all that stuff. If one more kid comes into my office, I'm not calling out any names of my staff, and they're like, this will only take 10 minutes. I'm like, what takes you 10 minutes is going to take me 2 hours and end with a lot of profanity.
Well, I mean, Carol spearheaded the Healthy Mouth, Healthy Me program. Well, COVID happened and our launch and everything, but it is an amazing program because, we firmly believe that oral health is the mirror of your overall health.
For sure.
And that is being proven more every day. That is not always emphasized in healthcare, but it is the truth.
Mm-hmm. So what else besides the GDA? Let's talk about the business of dentistry real fast. And so you, as a multi-practice business owner or multi-practice location owner, and somebody that is, so you've managed, right? You've been a dentist, you're a business guy, you understand.
I like to think so.
All right. And what are you most excited about? What do you see as the opportunity, for, I'm going to say growth oriented. Let's start there. Growth oriented docs at the moment.
Well, I mean, dentistry is an amazing profession to be involved in, no matter where you are. If you're an associate or you're a multi-practice owner, because it's service-oriented, I think there are amazing opportunities. Sidestep the GDA, we want to welcome people from whatever practice model. There's opportunity to be an associate in many, many different opportunities, whether you're in a group practice, you're in a rural practice, you're in a city practice, you're in a multi-specialty practice, which is where the model is changing. I mean, the model is evolving. And in my situation, we've been blessed because we serve metropolitan areas and we serve a rural environment. And I just think a personal responsibility of being in a profession is serving people from all different backgrounds. And I think there are many opportunities in our state to practice in a underserved area. I think there's many opportunities to practice in an area where corporate dentistry is perhaps, if it's where you don't want to be an owner, but you want to learn, the mentorship program in corporate dentistry perhaps is something maybe you want to look into. Not all people are owners, but what I try to emphasize people all over this country, all over this state, is that private practice is alive and well in dentistry, and that can't be said for a lot of professions right now. And I think there are unlimited entrepreneurial options in dentistry, whether it's real estate, development. I've been blessed to be involved in all of it.
You are pretty smart.
No.
Wise,
a face for radio.
Face for radio. There you go. All right. So now I know we all want to keep it positive, but the reality of business is that there's ups and there's downs, and there's always a problem that needs to be solved. What do you see as challenges that the provider community may be facing right now, or that you're facing really as
well? No. I mean, I think there's lots of challenges. I mean, obviously there's workforce challenges, which all businesses are dealing with. We have, with Carol's lead, Frank's lead, some of the other leadership people at GDA, we formed a job portal that is awesome. And I've pushed for that. Ned, our previous president, pushed for that as well, to where if you have a job or you have an opportunity or you're looking for a job, you can look to this portal, and we want to work on it and get it and improve it.
So let me stop you right there. This is something that I think is really important, just from my own observation. The turnover issue is a problem. It's expensive. And when I'm working with somebody and with a dental practice, then when there's and I hear the hygiene's even worse, but when the office manager, the insurance coordinators go, and then nobody knows what had happened, right? They don't have any contracts. They don't have any fee schedules. All of that takes this is affecting our business, because it's like having to do the entire project again. Right. You have to go track it down. It's like a Scooby-Doo mystery. And so I'm really glad that you brought up the job portal, because is this for all staff? Is it, yes. or just associates?
It is for all staff.
Okay. That's awesome. So that way I have somewhere I can point these folks to.
But again, if you have a practice and you lose, it kind of circles back to your company or other folks that do what you do. I mean, if you lose your insurance coordinator or your office manager, where are you going to turn if you're operating as a lone wolf in Beaufort, Georgia, like Dr. Jacobs is? Who is he going to reach out to?
Well, he calls me.
He calls you. But who is he? Is he using Stewart? Is he using Harris? Maybe. Okay. But I'm just saying, lots of folks don't have that network, and we're trying to just provide it. We can't drive them to the meetings. We can't.
But even somebody like me, I'm very niche. I do one thing and one thing only. Correct. I explain this to people all the time. I'm like, I'm really good at this. I am not good at anything else. Just ask my wife. She will tell you.
Yes.
All right. And so, but I don't know where to find a good hygienist. I don't know where to find an associate, right? I'm not going to get your group health insurance even. Sure. I know a lot about insurance, but no, I'm not doing that. In mentorship, like all of the other parts. And so it's nice to have a place that's a resource to point folks to, or
for sure,
Well,
and I use, what are the struggles? Workforce, overhead, a box of gloves. I just spoke to a business group the other day, and a box of gloves. When I first got out of dental school in 1999, I went to work for a premier practice here in the North Georgia area, led by Dr. Jim Bob Williamson, amazing practitioner. Very difficult. He was hard on me, but I think about him every day I practice, because he was amazing. But when I wanted to use a non-powdered glove, it was, instead of $3.50 a box, it was $3.95, and he got all over me because I had a little allergy to the powder, and I developed it at dental school. So it's 45 cents a box for this big giant box.
Jim Bob didn't want you to.
Jim Bob didn't want me to wear. He said, deal with the powder and deal with it. Now, that was a different time. For $3.50 versus $3.95, half of that box right now for your new dentist, the 25 dentists that are within a mile of here, Alpharetta, half of that box is $42.
What?
Yes. So how does it go? It's not $6 a box. It's not $9 a box. It's $40 a box. So workforce, cost, regulation.
Jim Bob's blood pressure just went through the roof.
Sure.
And he's like, I'm glad I'm on the golf course.
Yeah.
Regulation. So continue. Workforce, regulation. I can't say enough about that personally, because you guys are so involved and proponents, and you have a really good team. And again, it's about being ahead, not being proactive, not reactive. Job portal, advocacy, professional development, charitable and education, promotion of your own charitable initiatives. If you want to participate as a member, how little or as much as you would like, right?
There are so many volunteer opportunities. Whether you want to join a committee, you want to be involved in Lincoln Fantasky right up the road here. he actually went to work in a place that I used to practice, and I met him there, and amazing young dentist, just really sharp guy. And then he ends up doing leadership GDA, which I tell people everywhere I go, when you get involved in organized dentistry leadership, you cannot help but take those leadership qualities back to your business, to your family, to your church. And so leadership development is a big thing for me, because the more you know, the more you need to know. And if you're working on it, it's gonna pay dividends in every avenue of your life, let alone in dentistry. So I'm just a big believer in that. And I think I don't know what your next question was. I'm sorry.
That was it. All of the things about Georgia Dental Association, there's a lot there, and you can check out their website at www.gda.org.
GAdental.org.
Speak in the mic. Go ahead, Carol.
GAdental.org.
GAdental.org. See?
So you tricked her. You got her to speak.
All right. Now you're famous. You can be
because she's the real talent here. Let's get real.
Yeah, you can be the co-host. You can come in next time. We got somebody coming in. I'm not sure. We might have Mr. T coming in to cure that jibber jabber problem, that noise that comes from behind the mixing booth over there from John Ray occasionally. But I'm excited to be down at the GDA. I know everybody that is listening to the show is excited. I know that my friend that's in Buford is probably none too pleased.
He's already packing.
But I know that Morgan Jacobs, who's his wife, will be thrilled, and so will my wife, so they can hang out and the kids can all hang out and run around and get in trouble. And then they have a guardian there that will do something, I'm sure, like make sure that nobody gets electrocuted.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. So listen, key metric is just keep the kids alive. I don't care what else happens. Right. And that's how I look at it. And so, Carol, since you have already broken the seal, is there anything else that you would like to add? Any questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions, good jokes?
Just go check out gadental.org for more information about joining the GDA.
Very good. All right. And a star is born.
I tell you what.
All right. So, Zach, if people want to reach you, how do they get a hold of you?
You can email me or call me anytime. You can go to zpowell@powelldentistry.com, or you can call me at 912-638-9090. And matter of fact, it's interesting you asked this because we practice in Redfern Village, and I've been going all over the state, and I love it. I love meeting all the folks, because the more I learn about each practice model, the more I appreciate, because there's some amazing people in this state. We kind of like what you said a minute ago. We sometimes get down into the trenches a little bit about the things that are not going our way in our profession. But it is an amazing profession with team members that really want to serve patients. But I tell people all the time that I'm right across the street from Southern Soul Barbecue, and I, again, face for radio and a body for radio if at all possible.
I'm right there with
it's
you.
Hard
Can
to keep
it
is a lot of work to keep this look going. But Southern Soul Barbecue is across the street, and I tell people all the time, and it's interesting because our office is all windows, and during Georgia, Florida, a lot of people are in St. Simons, and I'll be sitting there working on a patient, and they'll knock on the window and say, "Hey, how you doing?" But our office, our team, they welcome dentists every day from all over the country. We're all over the state. Excuse me. We have DCG students all the time. Pre-dental students rotate through our offices, and it's just we're very interactive, and people are welcome. If you're a GDA member or a non-member, stop in anytime. We really are. I mean that.
That's awesome. All right. Well, if that's all really I have, I'm going to see all of you, dear listeners, down at Amelia Island. That is if you are in Georgia. I know that there's lots of folks that listen to the show that are not in here. But if you're not involved in organized dentistry and you are in another state, then I would encourage you to get involved. And if your comment to me is, Pat, well, they're not doing a lot for me, then I would say that you need to look in the mirror, because your association should be a representative of yourself, and so if somebody needs to lead, then you lead. That's how I feel about it. If you disagreed, then maybe you should come on the show. We'll put on the music and we'll have a little dance. All right. You got to talk to John Ray about that though. John Ray and Mildred are the people that book. Do not call me. And so if you have any complaints, please send them to John Ray, jray at djray.com. And at any rate, I'd like to thank our sponsors. That would be Patrick O'Rourke at patricko'rourke.me.com, a professional speaker, and Practice Quotient, PPO analysis and negotiation, top tier representation by certified professionals for top tier providers. With that, I want to thank everybody for their time and hope you have a terrific day. Until next time, this is your host, Patrick O'Rourke.